For this example, we're going to calculate the mean and the median and the mode for the frequency distribution. Now, typically, frequency distributions are used for values where we group them. For instance, we might have a range of numbers for each class. But here, just for making the data look a little bit better so we don't have to write out 15 numbers that are equal to 611, we just group it in a table like this as a shortcut. So for this kind of frequency distribution, we actually do know what the original data is. We have 15 numbers that are 611. We have 7 numbers that are 545, 8 numbers that are equal to 608, and so on. So to find the mean of the frequency distribution, basically when we calculate the mean is equal to the sum of all the values x divided by the sum of the frequency. So this strange looking E is a Greek letter for sigma, and whenever you see sigma in math, it means calculate the sum of something, and after it is what you're adding up. So here, if I wanted to, I could write out 611 15 times, and I would just be adding that together, and that's very tedious. So a shortcut in math, when you have repetitive addition, is to multiply. So the shortcut here is we're going to multiply the frequency by the value so that you don't have to type that number out all those times. So I have 15 611s plus 7 545s plus 8 608s plus 12 584s plus 9 586s and 5 596s. So that's going to give me the sum of all of those numbers just in a quicker way. And then we want to divide that answer by the sum of the frequencies, and the sum of the frequencies is actually giving us how many numbers were in the data. So I would divide it by 15 plus 7 plus 8 plus 12 plus 9 plus 5. Now the way that I've written it on the screen, if you want to enter this in your calculator in a quick way, you would start here with the numerator, type that whole thing in, make sure you press equals after you finish, and then hit divided by, and then you utilize the parentheses to divide by the sum of these numbers. And this is going to give you a mean of 591.2. So that's the average number for that frequency distribution. To find the median, we want to know what the middle number is. So when we want to find the true middle number, you have to have the numbers written in order from least to great. So I want to concentrate on the values first, and I want to rearrange the table so that the values are going to be in numerical order. So the smallest number, the smallest value is the 545. And so I'm just going to keep writing those values in order based on the table. Okay, so now I've got the values written in order from least to great with their accompanying frequencies. So if I had a smaller data set, what I would do is I would actually have the numbers written in a line. For instance, 545 occurs 7 times, so I would have the number 545 7 times written in a row. But a shortcut is to utilize the frequency distribution table and to kind of get a better understanding of where the numbers are after you've written out all 7 545s and now you're ready for the next one, is to do a cumulative table. So a cumulative table, we start with the first frequency, so you have 7 545s. So then when we list out all of the 584s, I've got 12 of those, so I'm going to add 7 and 12, and then I'm going to have 19 numbers listed. 7 and 12 is 19. So it just gives you a better idea of the position of the next group of numbers and where you are in the line. So now I've got 19 numbers listed, but now I'm going to add 9 more for the 586s. So you just keep adding the next number, the next frequency as you go. So 19 plus 9 is 28. So after I've written all the 545s, all the 584s, and all the 586s, I've got 28 numbers in the line. Now I add 5 596s. So 28 plus 5, 33 numbers. And now I add 8 608s, 41 numbers. And finally you add the 15, and you get 56. Now if you've added these correctly, when you get to the last value, that should actually equal the sum of all the frequencies, meaning you have a total of 56 numbers in your data set. So now that we've got the numbers listed in order from least to great, and we've done the cumulative frequencies, we want to find the middle. So to find the middle, if we know we have 56 total numbers, you start with your total numbers and you want to half it. Okay, so 56 divided by 2 is 28. Now if you have an even set of values, like here we have 56 numbers, the middle is not going to actually be a number in the data set. For instance, let's say that you have the numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. We have 4 numbers in this data set. Now the middle is going to have to be exactly balancing the data set, so we have 2 numbers on each side. So if I look at the sum of the numbers, or the total numbers here, the total numbers is 4 numbers. If I half it, I get 2. So that tells me that my middle will be balanced with 2 on each side. So I count from the beginning, 1, 2, draw a line, and then you have 2 numbers after the line. The line is the median. So when you have an even set of numbers, this is going to happen where your median is going to be in between the 2 middle numbers, and to calculate it, you're going to take those 2 middle numbers and average them. So you get 5 divided by 2, or 2.5 is the median here. If you have an odd set of numbers in your data set, like if I had 1, 2, and 3, so 3 divided by 2, if I want to calculate the middle, is 1.5. So when you have an odd set of numbers, you're going to get a decimal for the middle, and that just means you go to the next whole number. So the second number will be the middle. So if I go 1, 2, there is my middle number. So in this answer, your median is the number in the middle too, and you don't have to average anything to calculate it. So going back to our example down here, we have 28 is what I got when I did 56 total numbers divided by 2. Again, this is an even set of numbers, so this means I want 28 on each side. So that means as I'm counting from the beginning, 545 has 7 numbers, and then when I add the next 12, I've got 19 numbers, and then when I add the next 9, I'm at 28. So at this point, I've got the number 586 written out 28 times. So my median, though, is going to have 28 numbers on each side. So basically, if I look at this table, if I draw a line right here after the 28, I've got my cumulative frequency table shows me I've got 28 numbers before this line. And then after the line, I will have another 28 numbers to get all 56. So where's the middle? Well, the middle is going to be between the 28th and 29th numbers. Well, if you look at what is the 28th number, the 28th number is coming from this value, 586. So I have 586 with a line. And then what comes next is in the next row here, 596. I've got 33 of those. Well, I will have 5 of those. I've got 28 plus 5 numbers. I'll be at 33 numbers when I list all of those. But I've got 596 is going to be the next one. So my median is between the 586 and the 596. So to calculate the median, you're going to have to average those. add them up, and divide by 2. And make sure you press equals before you do division. That's going to give you 591 as the median. So again, it's just like up here in this simple example where I had 4 numbers and I did 4 divided by 2 is 2, and I wanted 2 on each side. That means that my median is between the second and third numbers, and that's exactly where it landed. Here's my second number, here's my third number. In between those is where the middle was, so I would average the second and the third numbers together. Finally, let's find the mode, if we have any. So the mode is the number that repeats most often. Now from this table, it's easy to calculate the mode. You're just looking for the highest frequency because these are all repeating numbers, and the number that repeats most often is 611. So 611 is the mode. Now you could have a tie for a mode. For instance, if we had 2 numbers that had the frequency of 15, then we would have 2 different modes that we would list. So you can have multiple modes, you can have no mode. But for a frequency distribution, you will definitely have a mode because these are repeating numbers here. So you want to go to the number that repeats most often, and so you're just looking for the highest frequency value.